It's my newest baby. Um, just putting thoughts together. Place where we call it black and white, or colorless, like the color of water. That aside, today is 1st of December, and I think it's important that we have a discussion and a conversation around matters AIDS and stigmatization. And to me, this one is really, really important because in my day-to-day life and my daily activities in a bid to bring bread on the table, I can't help but be concerned at the number of people that I have to meet and deal and help really and counsel with who are dealing with stigma. Now, friends, in 1998 or thereabout, when a young boy in South Africa pleaded with a conference that in as much as scientists are coming up with vaccines and ARVs and all that, we need to come up with ways of dealing with stigma. It was shocking at that time. And of course, stigma by that time was real. At that time, a HIV positive patient would not share the same towel with the rest, or, glass of water, or even space. They were treated like, I don't know, some guys who had a plague or something. That was 1998, or back then. Now in 2020, we are not doing that, and that's why I know you are there and you're wondering, why would Meshach tell us that there's stigma? Like, how would there be stigma? Let me tell you what stigma is. Stigma is when a high school student is not able to take their drugs because they are in school, or a student who is a learner who is in boarding, because they fear that their colleagues are going to inquire, mbona unameza hizi madawa? Or they have to hide their drugs so much inside the underwear because they fear that during the inspection, a full grown-up teacher, graduate for that matter, is going to liken their drugs to, I don't know, some contraband. That is stigma. Stigma is some guy who apparently happened to know that someone is suffering or is a HIV victim, and they go ahead to share this in a prayer meeting at the pretense of, we want to pray for Brother Meshach, we want to pray for Sister so-and-so. That is the kind of stigma that I'm talking about today. Stigma today, friends, has gone to an extent that character assassination is happening in the context of HIV. Just recently, I saw screenshots of someone that I know, by the way. I'll not disclose their names, of course, but screenshots of conversations going around of how so-and-so is HIV positive and that you should avoid him like a plague. Okay, I'm like, really? Why am I supposed to avoid someone because they are HIV positive? It's not like just how else do we want to avoid people because they are HIV positive? Just why would we want to do that? So character assassination today is top-notch with the people's HIV status. And it's unfortunate because, of course, eventually you want to ask yourself, how comes that people get to know this? I thought it was supposed to be private and confidential. Yeah, I also thought so too. And so I also asked myself, just why is it that we are having these things out there? But let's not dwell so much into that. This is the take-homes for you and I on 1st of December 2020. Take-homes. Number one, could we start appreciating that HIV/AIDS is real and stop living in some oblivious world where it's not really so much there, no, it's there, friends. HIV is real. And so if you happen not to be positive, will you kindly take care of yourself, love yourself, don't engage in careless sex and so on and so forth. I mean, just take good care of yourself. These are things that we learned right from primary. I want to assume that you know. That is take home number one. Then take home number two, if you happen to know that someone is HIV positive, would you kindly acknowledge that they are just as normal human beings as you are? They are not lesser Christians, they are not lesser human beings, they are not lesser students, they are not lesser employees, they are not lesser passengers, they are not lesser customers. They're just as normal as you. The same way you would want to go to the grocery store and buy a few supplies for your kitchen is the same way they would want to do the same. And when you see them buying lemons, for example, it's not because they heard somewhere that lemons are good for them, really. No. It's just the same way you and I go buying lemons. Do we buy lemons because we are HIV positive? We don't. And when you see them crying to God in church or to Allah in a mosque, I mean, do not start presuming that, oh my, it's really now heavy on them, they are crying. Yesterday morning I was crying a lot. I am not HIV positive. I was crying for my own things. And you, I bet you cry. Your pillows will tell us a different stories about your tears. And so do not look at them when they are expressing their emotions and decide to liken this to they are positive. That's why they are crying. No. Take home number 2. Take home number 3, and this one goes to the people in the education sector. Teachers, 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 teachers. We are failing. We are failing big time. Failing big time. If you are a teacher and you don't know how ARVs look like, I would really wish that you take a research and get to know how they look like. So that next time you see a student, how else would someone have ARVs, really, if they're really not sick? You know, ARVs is not like Panadol or that tablet that is red and amoxil or you know, it's not just some normal thing that maramoja that you're going to get over the counter. No, ARVs can't just be found anyhow. So when you as a teacher know that these are ARVs, because you know them, when you see them with a student, you're not going to start discriminating against them or start putting them to task to explain why they have all those drugs and so on and so forth. No, what you're going to do is to, you know, just let them be. Not unless they come for you to you for some help. If they really don't come to you, I would rather you let them be. Because again, you starting to act so lovingly and carefully and embracing them and being so sympathetic and all that, to some extent, is a way of stigmatizing against them. So could we kindly not do that? And then could we train our children back at home before we send them out to school that they are going to meet these kind of cases? And if the reports we are getting today are anything to go by, then we need to brace ourselves to having a spike in the infection rates to the school-going children. And so it calls upon the members of the education sector really to put their heads together and see how best we are going to support these children. And there are going to be many of them who are still in denial. There are those who are still going through what we call self-imposed stigma. There are those who are going through, you know, various challenges. They have really not accepted themselves. The best that we can do is to offer them support. But then if you really don't know how to offer support to an HIV patient, then do not offer nothing. Just let them be. Mind your lane, let them mind their lanes. We have professional people who are going to offer them the support that they need. When they go for their drugs and the therapies and all that, they get that support. But eventually, all I'm saying today in this first video of the My Oh My show is HIV is real, and so is stigma against those that are infected and affected by HIV/AIDS. And I think for a society that is as learned and as civilized as our society, that is something that should really, really, really be in our past. So 1st December 2020, we are talking stigma. I hope 1st December 2021, we will be talking about something else. Because we the people means all the people, including those that are affected and infected by HIV/AIDS. So you think about that. Meanwhile, share this with friends. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mesha Kumhakam Kenya. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, Mesha Kumhakam Kenya. And I'm on Facebook, Mesha Kumhakam Kenya. You give that a thought. Promise me that you're actually going to give it a thought. Thank you. Love you as always.